Is it just me, or did this episode feel incomplete? Now, D&D adventures are long, sprawling stories, so of course, not every session is going to feel satisfying, but I can't help wonder if this episode couldn't have gone on just a little bit longer, given it is one of the shortest episodes of the campaign so far, clocking in at around 3.5 hours. So let's take a look at what happened, and then I'll give my thoughts on whether or not Matt cut this D&D session too short. Who am I? I am the BookTube Goddess, the #1 drag queen booktuber on YouTube. I review Critical Role in terms of storytelling, so there will be spoilers. We are on episode 18 of the Bells Hells campaign. We begin the episode pretty much at the start of combat with the giant plant creature that had some sort of anglerfish type of lure in the form of a fairy that could hypnotize its victims and bring them into its trap. Fern is the one hypnotized, and Ashton has to run after her and try to snap her out of it.
Snap out of it!
But it ends up with Fern breaking out of the trance and Ashton getting hypnotized instead and immediately getting swallowed by the plant creature. Real quick, can I just say that this is one of my favorite dioramas that Matt has made? Usually they're a little bit dark and hard to see, especially when they're minimized on the screen. But this bright green jungle diorama was not only beautiful, but I was able to follow the combat throughout the entire battle. Oh, and regarding Ashton getting swallowed, if you are any sort of experienced D&D player, you know that there is an actual getting swallowed whole mechanic. And we've all faced the dreaded purple worm at some point in our playing, and we know how that continuous acid damage mechanic works. So, anyway, Ashton is once again calling for help, and I really appreciate Talison's attachment to his character, because I really feel that he's concerned about Ashton's fate, which I get more from him than the other party members.
Your mind begins to pull away from your consciousness, and this kind of fuzzy sense of static takes over your mind as you
into the bed.
Move.
Oh,
Step up towards the creature there.
No, what are you doing?
Not on my turn?
No, you are incapacitated.
Okay.
It's fully incapacitated.
Yeah.
Great.
Half your walking speed, which would be 20 for you.
No
You're
problem.
incapacitated until the end of its next turn. It will also following that up with a Hungry Jaws attack. We're incapacitated.
Hungry Jaws.
That's going to be 24 to hit.
That hits, surprisingly.
You are incapacitated, so it is an automatic crit on you.
Open up and there it goes.
Oh shit.
That's
Automatic
bad.
crits if
Bad.
you're incapacitated.
Don't worry, your
That
cleric's
is-
asleep.
32 points of piercing damage to you.
Wow. Wow.
They're hefty.
And you all watch
They're
as
powerful.
Ashton, like weapon out at the side, suddenly this pulse hits. Ashton kind of drops the hammer and kind of drags it on the ground behind them. As they step forward towards the creature like turns what you imagine its head to be to the side and then swallows him.
Ashton's gone?
Help.
It's again?
It's again.
It's fucking again. Again.
Oh shit, guys.
Uh-oh.
And it's going to slowly, oh dear,
No.
shift its way this way.
It's
All right.
very large.
Next.
That finishes its turn. Now it brings us to Fern with Orm on deck.
Oh boy. Okay, that was that changes things.
Didn't, though.
It didn't. It did not. Okay. That's not gonna work. Oh goodness gracious. Okay.
And if you've played D&D and gotten really attached to your character, you know what that feels like. I recall seeing a clip about how emotional Ashley got when Pike died in the Vox Machina campaign, and this was before it was live streamed. Anyway, the first half of the episode is a fight with the plant monster. The party eventually wakes up, Ashton escapes, Laudna and FCG both get swallowed. Laudna dies, sort of. There are some weird mechanics and she's undead.
Top of the train.
So many dice.
It doesn't really matter.
No.
Literally doesn't matter at all.
No.
That is 24 points of acid
Oh,
damage.
you're okay.
That's the end of
It's
that.
not
It just
an
literally
insta-dead.
made my eye twitch. All right, okay. I'm down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could have auto killed.
It got
could
close.
have auto killed.
It got close-ish.
It got close.
Oops. Oops.
Campaign 3 is different, you guys!
All bets are off, motherfucker! Okay, hang on. Hang on.
Okay, sorry.
When damage isn't really critical hit reduces user. Make a course.
It clearly isn't though.
What's the
So
damage taken? There's no way.
we were beating the fuck
No
out of it.
success.
Yeah, hitting you with a sword.
So I could attempt to roll a natural
Use it
20
to
for
get
strength
You
of
could.
brave. I rolled in exactly what I needed last time. Come on, natural 20. Manifest it.
Easy.
No. Rolled a 14.
Okay, well at least that's good. That's not a fail.
It's not. It was my ability to stay alive.
Yeah.
But
Unfortunately. So you are 0. That is. So it brings you to the end of your turn. At the top of the turn, you take a death saving throw. That's what it is. So you don't have to worry about it this turn necessarily.
hate it. I hate it.
I hate all of it.
She's
here.
in the acid. If we
Oh
don't
my
get her
So
out.
at the top of her turn, she just rolled damage, but the death save would be after.
roll two.
Would
Well,
be before
actually, this is interesting because like death saves happens at the start of the turn, but the damage you take from this also at the start of the target's turn.
that. So what?
I'll say roll a d6 for me.
All of this.
why?
Come on, big dog. You got this.
46.
Let's go.
On a 1 to 3, the damage hits before the death save, which means you will take 1 this turn. And you have to roll. Otherwise, it'll wait till next turn. So go ahead and roll. You want a 4 through
No
6.
big. Come on.
I want a 4 through 6.
Roll a death save.
No, I hate it.
The next turn, that's an auto crit, so she's 3
Well,
fails.
it's not a, melees are auto hits. This is just acid damage.
It's just.
This is
It's just acid damage.
another
Just,
fail.
just slowly being digested. It's fine.
Come on.
No, but
Cling to life.
it will be 2 saves on the next roll.
Cling to life.
Let's go.
What is that?
Rolled a 16, which means
Right!
no. Sorry, that's an 18.
What does that mean?
I get a hit point back
You do?
How, what? How?
because I'm an undead motherfucking bitch.
Yes!
I'm hard to kill. I am made of paper, but I'm technically hard to kill, so I have 1 hit point again.
So you come to consciousness, you still have your round now. From inside the- That's fucking crazy. Okay,
That
okay.
is awesome.
Whoa.
The other surprise is that the plant gets legendary attacks, even though it's not a legendary creature. I'm actually not quite sure what that's about, or really understand Matt Mercer's explanation.
Finishing your turn, now that it's angry,
Now that it's angry.
no,
What do you mean now that it's angry?
it's going to use 2 of its legendary actions.
Wait.
What?
This is a legend.
I don't feel good about that.
Okay. Legendary actions don't mean it's a legendary creature. Legendary actions just means powerful creatures have some sort of an attack economy against 7 players that can make it dangerous as a solo entity.
Who gave it miracle
Just
grow?
be mine.
What?
Hold on just a minute.
Whatever the case, the legendary attacks do up the stakes and make the battle more epic. Another neat part of the battle is finally getting to see Imogen's new magic item in action. And it's a crystal that they got from that giant rabbit that lets her have her spells, or 1 spell a day, have a wild magic side effect. And it's a random table, and her first use of it causes her to turn blue.
Imogen, you're up.
Okay.
Imogen.
All right, I'm gonna look around and with my telekinetic abilities I'm gonna pick up. I'm gonna use a sorcery point to split this spell. I'm gonna pick up 2 large boulders and send them at the creature.
Cool.
2 catapult spells.
Whoa.
Okay, so you're twinning spell.
It's a twinning spell. Yes. So I'm casting this at 3rd level, and I'm sending 2 large stones at the creature.
Sure, yeah.
All right.
That is
Technically can roll a wild magic since I meta magic.
If you wanted to.
Wild magic? Just cause?
Just cause.
Wait, does that take the place of a spell?
No. It just adds an effect to whatever I just do.
Go ahead and roll a D100.
23.
23. Okay. Your skin suddenly begins to shift tone. As you finish casting the spell, you don't realize that, but everyone else is looking over at Imogen. You watch as her skin suddenly begins to take on this like sickly bluish hue. So continue. These 2 large parts of rock that have been covered with vines and heavy root that aren't even visible suddenly tear free and rise up, just kind of floating in space, slowly rotating as you watch Imogen's skin go from like that light sickly blue to a steadily darker and darker, almost navy coloration. And then both rocks slam into both sides of the creature with a heavy impact.
I'm really curious what other effects this wild magic table has. They find out the giant plant monster is resistant to poison, but is susceptible to fire. FCG makes the killing hit, and we get to hear Matt's famous line,
How do you want to do it? Right on the cusp.
After every battle in D&D, the party usually gets a little bit of treasure. I thought maybe there'd be something of the monster's past victims in its stomach or something, but there's nothing really there, and they burn the remains of the creature so it can't regenerate. I have to say, this was a pretty good combat, especially for a random encounter. I have to give a hand to Matt Mercer for creating this creature. I assume it's a custom creature for the campaign. Let me know if it actually exists in the monster manual, because as you know, I'm a few decades out of date from my playing days. But either way, it's creative, unusual, and not your typical goblin raiding party. On the last leg of their journey, they meet another group headed to Heartmoor, and I think we're all wondering if this is a rival group in the contest of who can steal from the museum. I actually thought the rivals were already at Heartmoor, but later we hear they haven't arrived yet, so I think there's a pretty good chance that this group are their rivals. So we finally get to the Heartmoor. First, they go to the museum to introduce themselves to Avon Hydroga, the owner of the museum, and he seems like quite the character.
As you stand there watching, and he approaches his arms out.
Welcome, everyone, to the Twilight Museum. So, are you wanting a half-day pass, or are you looking for the full presentation?
Well, actually, funny enough, we were sent here by your dear friend, Gianna Hexam.
You're who she sent.
Well, she's an eccentric, and she likes her representatives to be the same.
Curious.
Finally, Orem and Imogen go to speak to Estani, the last person who saw the Loomis twins alive, I believe. Remember, Orem spent, 10 episodes or so searching for Oshad Brescio, who was in a fight similar to the attack on the Ashtari, which also killed Orem's husband. The connection is the attacks in both events. The attackers turned into some sort of slime, goopy monsters. Anyway, Oshad gave Orem the name of Estani. Imogen is also looking for information on the red storm that is plaguing her dreams. She knows it is some sort of cosmic event, that occurs every few decades, and the Loomis twins were researching it. Since Istani is also an astronomer, it seems logical he may know something about what the Loomis twins were researching, and maybe even having the pages that were torn out of the library book that Imogen wants to find. And end. Now, I was surprised that it ended there. It ended just before we finally get to maybe find out some answers the party has been searching for throughout the entire campaign. Nat said there wouldn't be time for the conversation to go on because it could go on for a long time, but I can't believe the conversation is going to go longer than 30 minutes. And we ended at 3.5 hours, and we've had episodes go 4 or 5 hours long, so it just felt that it ended very abruptly, at least to me. If you feel otherwise, let me know down in the comments, and while you're there, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Anyway, what other reasons could Matt have wanted to end the episode this abruptly? I think obviously he wanted to end on a cliffhanger and knew the audience would really want to tune in next week to find out what information Istani has. My guess is he has a couple of milestones in mind of when to end an episode and maybe didn't expect to get to Istani so soon. Also, if we did get the Istani conversation, he would have had to end the episode probably right after the conversation, which wouldn't provide much of a cliffhanger for next week. In any event, this wasn't my favorite episode, mostly because it just felt to me like half an episode on the basis of that abrupt ending. But I also have to admit that where the episode did end makes me really want to catch the next episode to find out what Istani reveals. So in that regard, well done, Matt. I do recaps every week. If you missed last week's recap, you can find it right here. Until we meet again, may all the books you read and the campaigns you play in be